Hi everybody, this is Dennis, and we're going to discuss and do a full review of Shadowdark, a new tabletop role-playing game. I just picked it up not too long ago. You can see this is the core book, which we will go over, and then I picked up each of the three of the Cursed Scrolls, which are their Shadowdark zines, which kind of remind me of like the old gazetteers back in the day, which adds on to the core book. One of the things that I can say, it even says it in the Shadowdark book, is this is a rules light, very intuitive gaming system. So, for those of you that are very familiar with 5th edition or the different editions of D&D, the best way I can describe it is two of the games that we were playing. You guys remember me talking about the index card role-playing game. I love this system. Super rules light book. This is a very fun, quick system. Lots of options. And of course, there is the old 5th edition D&D book. I really thought for my world, index card role-playing game was just probably a little too loose, and this is definitely too heavy to have a lot of quick fun. But if you smash these two together, really, which is what I was looking for, you really wind up getting basically Shadowdark. Shadowdark is really cool. First of all, when I ordered it, you can see this is a beautifully done book, Shadowdark. I didn't find out about this until after it was already done. They had a Kickstarter. I think they raised like 1.3 million. The Arcane Library puts it out. Kelsey Dion, she, is the creator of it, and she's got a great team. And they did a lot of play testing and stuff on this. I do love the fact as we flip through the book, it does even have a couple of things that I'm going to talk about the quality. It even has the bookmark, which I like. We'll get into the tables and stuff. But one of the things that I noticed right away when I open it up, and this has always been kind of a pet peeve of mine, and they addressed it. When you open the book, look at that, the inside covers. There is actually useful items on the covers. It's a small thing, but it's a really cool thing. It is always just kind of wasted space. So I do love the fact that they went forward with doing that. I love it. So one of the things that, I'm going to kind of show you the inside of the book. We'll talk a little bit about the rules, and then I'll give you guys a peek into some of the Cursed Scroll stuff. This system is very much like 5e in the way that it is a standard. It's a D20 system. You've got all your standard abilities, same as in 5e. The difference is if you play it as written, you roll your stats, 3d6, right in order. Strength, dex, constitution, etc. You just go right down the line and you roll them. What you get is what you get. And you create your characters based on the stats that you roll up. And but the difference is this system caps it out at 18. So, if you're at a plus, at an 18, you're at a +4 modifier. So, anyway, it's really cool. We're going to move these to the side so we can take a look at the book. Again, I love very simple. This is minimal math. I do love it. Characters have everything's done in turns, like rounds. And it's very simple. You get one move action. You get in one action to create. So it is cool. Characters move 30 feet a turn, but it is very much like the ICRPG where, you don't pull out a tape measure and roll it. They're close, they're near, they're far, and it really is a good way to do it. That is one of the things that I really enjoyed about ICRPG and what Runehammer did. Still love that system. They incorporated into it. But you can take a look in here. Your characters, you can see, they have the fighter class, the priest class, the thief, and the wizard. Guys, there's only 4 classes in this basic book. You can create your own class. There's quite a few more classes in the Cursed Scrolls. But for the core ones, you get the 4. And then it talks about your alignment, so on and so forth. Magic, it's broken into how the gameplay actually works. They utilize luck tokens, which is a great system to use within there. We'll probably talk a little bit more about that. Then there's the Game Master section. How do you actually role play the game? Warding XP is completely different than what you would be in D&D. Here it's not just go out, kill monsters, and get XP. You know, you earn XP for getting treasure for doing certain things. And the more impressive it is, the better your XP. Plus, they incorporate something awesome called carousing. Another way to take all this money and turn it into XP. Very intuitive, I thought. Lots of random encounter tables. We'll look at some of those. The monster section, and then it gets into the treasure section. And I think this is just very well done. This is kind of, you know, the intro that talks about it. See right there, rules light and intuitive. It encourages quick decisions rather than hunting through rule books. And yeah, you'll see so much in here is very much like 5th edition, but so much more pared down, so much quicker. You know, it talks about rounds, what you can do on each of your turn, the checks, your stats. See, strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, exactly the same. Only it caps out at, like I said, 18 at a +4. One of the other things, you know, in your weapons, you can see like your weapons. Here's a basic list of weapons, but if you take a look at a longsword, it does a D8. Longbow, a D8. You can see a spear's a D6. And in this game, though, what you do for damage is your weapon damage. You don't add your strength. You don't add your dex. It's just really great. It's very simple. You don't need to add in all that other stuff to make this fun. Same thing with distance. We were kind of mentioning it. There it is. Close is 5 feet. Near is 30 feet. And then far is anything that's within sight. And your spells, everything you do is based on this type of a setup. Very much directly, I think, from ICRPG. Difficulty class, the DCs, you know, if it's easy, normal, hard, extreme. The one thing I like about this, if you have time, for example, if you're a thief and you need to unlock a door, but you got all the time in the world and you have toolkit, you don't really have to roll. You know, in this game, you assume that eventually you'll be able to get it. Now, if you've got a bunch of orcs coming to stab you in the back with spears, well, then you have to make your checks and things like that. So it is cool. One of the other things, again, somewhat similar to ICRPG, dying is much easier in this game. And if you get brought down to 0 hit points, you basically roll a D4 plus whatever your con modifier is, or minus if you have a negative con. And that's how many rounds you get to either roll a natural 20 or to be stabilized by somebody who has an ability to come over and bind your wounds or cast a spell on you or something. It's really cool. Spell casting, another thing that's important in this, spell casting is you have to make an attempt to cast every spell. So magic in this system is exactly kind of what I was looking for. It's got big rewards, but there's also, you know, it's a difficult thing to process. And like on a wizard, if you miscast, you roll a 1 to cast, you fumble it basically. You have to make a check on the mishap table, which is cool. I'll probably kind of show you guys that. But your armor class, your background, your talents, your AC and stuff works very much the same. This one does utilize the advantage system from 5th edition. Some of the other systems call it boons and banes. So depending on what you guys know it as. But basically, You know, if you have advantage on something, you roll 2 d20s instead of 1. You take the best. If you're at disadvantage, you roll 2 and take the worst. So it's a very simple mechanic. This game is kind of neat, and I am going to be setting up to run my own gauntlet one, where you can begin with 0 level characters, and then you run it through a gauntlet one. Most of them have 1 or 2 hit points, and they're nobody. Maybe they're a bartender or a weaponsmith or a farmer. And you create it and you go through this gauntlet, and whatever character survives, you start with a bunch of them. That's the one that you turn into a first level character. It's really cool. You have in this world of Shadowdark, you have dwarves, goblins, elves, half-orcs, halflings, humans. And one of the cool things that what makes this game very, very different, light is a huge issue. You have a number of slots that you can carry equipment in. 10 or your strength modifier, whichever is higher. So if you need to carry a torch for light, you know that takes a slot. The important thing is none of your ancestries, none of your species or races have dark vision. But almost all the monsters, pretty much all of them, I think, have dark vision. So if you lose your light, you're in big trouble. And actually, when you light a torch, if you go underground, say you're going into a dungeon, you light a torch, you set a timer for 1 hour. And at the end of that hour, if then that timer goes off, it's real time. That torch goes out, and therefore you're in trouble unless you have another torch ready to go. Lots of bad, nasty things can happen when you lose your light. It's really a neat system in here to do it. So the way it works is fighter, here's your fighter class, for example. Your classes go through 10 levels total, 4 different classes. And each one, you get to start with, like, here's a fighter talent, and you roll. You could gain weapon mastery, or +1 to melee and ranged attacks, +2 to one of your physical stats, things like that. Each different class has their own. You can see spell casting checks for a priest. You can see the number of priest spells that are known. And again, you do have to make a spell casting check. Spell casting checks, it's 10 plus whatever the level is. If you're casting a first level spell, it's 10 plus 1, so in 11. And if you fail it, and you basically lose that spell for the day. If you roll a 1, again, as a wizard, you would roll on the mishap table. On a priest, if you roll a 1, well, then that's a separate issue. Your god or deity is very upset with you, and you actually have to go on a quest to gain that spell back, or complete something like a paladin with a cool little side quest, something like that. It's kind of a neat thing to do. Thief class, of course, and then your wizard class. Backgrounds. Your backgrounds, again, this is, you roll these things up. Now, you can do this however you want in your game, but it is a great way to do it. Your alignment, chaotic, lawful, or neutral. Now, it doesn't have, there's no evils and goods and true neutrals and stuff. You just have 3. But, and this one talks about the deities, if you use the deities in this world. But here's the really cool part about it. They have titles, something that I think really means something. So if you're a lawful fighter, you start out as a squire, you become a cavalier, a knight, a thane, or a lord and lady. If you're neutral, you're a warrior, barbarian, battle rager, war chief, chieftain. If you're chaotic, you're a knave, a bandit, a slayer, a reaver, a warlord. So when you get introduced, you could get introduced as a slayer. Well, that kind of means you know something about that character. They're chaotic, they're not necessarily a good person, and they probably have some kind of a reputation. You can see that, acolytes and adepts and shamans and all things that, with Kor-Drath, I'm going to be utilizing a lot of this type of stuff. This is the system I'm going to be using for a Kor-Drath. I love it. I love everything that they've done with it. And there's so much that will attune to the Shattered Reach. But the game itself, just kind of wanted to go through it. I do like it. You have common languages and rare languages. It talks about your starting gear. Again, it's very important with your slots and stuff that you're going to fill up. What can you bring? What can you afford? You don't get a lot up front. So it's very cool. But, for example, your armor class, leather armor, it's an 11. It basically adds 1 to your base of 10. So you got an 11 plus if you've got a dex modifier. Chainmail is 13 plus dex. Plate is 15. Shield, you get a +2 to your AC. And mithril, basically there's no penalty to stealth or swim. But instead of, it reduces your gear slot it takes up by 1. So you can see leather only takes 1 slot, chainmail 2. Plate mail is very heavy and cumbersome. It's a 3. So anyway, really cool stuff. Here's the weapons again. Finesse, loading, gives you all the important information. You can create your character names. You can make up random characters. And then we get into the magic system. Critical success, if you roll a natural 20 on your spellcasting check, you double one of the spell's numeric values. That is a cool thing. Very simple, again, to do while you're role-playing. It doesn't require a lot of lookup. I love it. Critical failure, if you roll a natural 1 on your spellcasting check. For a wizard, you roll on the mishap. On the priest, see your deity is displeased, and it revokes its power. You cannot cast that spell until you complete a ritualistic penance. So, like I said, a cool test. Wizard mishaps. Now you can see it gets worse. So these are basically spell levels 1 and 2. They call them tiers. There's your 3 and 4, and of course, level 5 is your big one. So you have the ability to really, like this shred, you tear a hole in the fabric of the universe close to you. The lightless tear grows larger every round. Really bad stuff can happen to this. Wands and scrolls, it talks about how to be able to utilize that. And here's how simple the spells are. There's your entire pre-spells, the core ones that they come with. It's very basic, but it really encompasses everything you need. There's the wizard ones. You'll recognize them. Mage armor, magic missile, alarm, acid arrow, mirror image. But, they don't go 1 and 1. A wish is a 5th level spell, which in 5th edition, it's a 9th level spell. Here it's a tier 5. So, you can see stone skin, same thing. I believe it's a 7th level spell, maybe 6th level. Here it's a tier 4. And then here's a list of like all the different spells that they have. But you can see each spell. Look how simple. Duration 5 rounds. Range close. Range near. Range close. Range self. Again, everything you need is right there. It's a very short, very simplistic magic system. And something that can be, utilized and customized within your role-playing session. I love it. Love it. This talks about your difficulty checks and using your stats, stealth and surprise. Like the halfling has the ability to go invisible for 3 rounds a day. Every race has their own special little ability. Talks about campfires and resting. If you're injured, you need to recover from your wounds. You must consume a ration and sleep for 8 hours. Kind of like if you're playing the Baldur's Gate, video game and stuff like that. It's kind of like that. If you successfully rest throughout the 8 hours, you regain all lost hit points and recovers of any stat damage. So this game is very deadly, And it's very swingy in the early stages because, you know, you can take up to 8 points of damage from a longsword, and that's more hit points than a lot of characters have. This is one of the things I was kind of mentioning, carousing, really cool. This is a way for you to convert your coin into XP. So the more, basically, you throw a party or do something like that, the more money you throw into it, the bigger your bonus to roll is to figure out how much XP, and then you actually roll the outcome, and then you gain, you can see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 XP on it. And, you know, it's a great way. It's a great mechanic within this system. But we'll kind of look, one of the things in here, maps, lots of tables for everything. If you want, let's just, something happens. So random encounter tables. I mean, look at that. This is right up my alley. You guys know I love tables. I included in the modules for the Kor-Drath series that were 5e. I will probably be also converting the original 2 into Shadowdark. But, you know, adventures, you know, NPCs, if you need to quickly roll something up, it's right there. If you need to name an NPC, depending on your race, just roll. It'll help you get a name. This system has awesome tables for everything. Same thing, if you need to make a map for your Shadowdark campaign, you can do random maps, settlement maps. Here's tavern generators. You guys already know, for those of you that watch my channel and stuff, you know I'm big onto things like that. I love the fact that taverns are distinct and unique within your system. Basically, all the buildings are. Here's the different shops. Here's encounters that you can come across. If you're in the Arctic, or if you're in an artisan district, or a castle district of a city, or you're in a cave, you see what I'm saying? Almost every environment that you could be in, it's got something for it. Low district, temples, universities, and then we get into the monsters. Here's your monster manual, but that's basically in it. See how simple this is? Here's a snow ape. Armor class, hit points, attack, movement, strength, dex, con, intelligence, wisdom. It's got everything in there. It has thick fur, and it's immune to cold. So everything that you need is within this little one. There's no huge stat blocks because there's no need for it. It has all the basic abilities. A bandit, they have the ambush ability. A badger can rage once a day. You know, you can see a black pudding. Love those things. Only damage, it's impervious. Only damaged by fire. Corrosive. Water or metal that touches it dissolves. So everything you need is right in this tiny little block. You don't need these big, expansive, drawn out characters for it, like 5e does. So with the screw up of the OGL, really, and I think it was a huge screw up on them, it had a lot of us that's been playing D&D for years. I played many, many, many systems, not just D&D, but that was always our fallback one. But after this, it really left a bad taste in our mouth. The new version, I call it 5.5, you know, they've made it complex enough where they want you to do D&D Beyond or their new version coming out and pay monthly fees. And I don't want to have to do all that stuff to make stuff and create it. You know, my friends, my family, when we like to play, just sit down and play. This has the ability. And, like, check this out, guys. The Tarrasque. Seriously, the Tarrasque. My favorite creature, like, of all time, for all of us that remember the original D&D. The Tarrasque has been around forever. The strongest game. But you can even see the stats. Strongest creature in the entire game. AC 22, hit points 140, attack 4, tells you what's your ability. Look at all. Legendary ability, Deep Dweller, Reflective, Regeneration, Sever, Swallow. Again, there's your largest creature on one little page. Beautiful artwork that's in this book. It's all black and white. It is dark. It's gritty. I love how they do it. And but yeah, that's it for monsters. Love what they did with it. That's why combat is so simple. Your treasure, my world's a little bit different, but this gives you a real nice basic of what you can get with treasure. Treasure, levels 0 to 3, your basic treasure. ICRPG kind of did it. They didn't break it into levels like that. They had broken it into, your basic and advanced and all the cool, categories that way. But this one basically lays out, the higher the treasure number, here's your 10 plus, you can get really cool stuff. And again, because you have limited slots, you have to, you can't just keep picking up unlimited amounts of treasure. I believe they have a bag of holding type item in the world, but it's not unlimited. It gives you 10 extra slots. So again, it's a great mechanic within the system. Mundane items, here's your boons, your abilities, here's potions, scrolls and wands. Again, guys, just all these charts. I love them, love them, love them. Intelligent weapons and stuff. Item virtue, item flaw, their personality traits. Boy, I remember that, especially in the old D&D ones, getting your intelligent stuff. But anyway, this is, and it breaks down some of your important magic items. So this is really cool how they do it. The Trident of the Seas. It's a +2 spear. You can breathe underwater and speak and understand wild sea creatures. So if you're underwater, once per day you can cast Control Weather with a +4 bonus. That's it. That's the entire thing. You don't need a whole page just devoted to a magic item. So this is great. Here is a great sample of your character sheet. You can see there's your stats, your hit points, your armor class, your attacks, name, talents and spells, ancestry, class level, XPs, your title, which is, like I said earlier, kind of important in this game, alignment, background, if you worship a deity, and then there's your gear. 10, or let's say you had a 14 strength, you would actually have 14 slots, and everything else would be, kind of crossed out. So very simple. And this is great. It talks about the RPG community. I know Discord's a big one in here. I am not a Discord person. I'm probably going to have to learn how to utilize Discord because everything's moving that way. So I will probably go on there and join it. Kelsey, the creator of it. So if you have to ask questions, I know I've heard that they have a great system in there. The credits. And then here's your random encounters, safe, risky, or deadly. How often do you check? Again, distances, stats, the modifiers, languages, XP treasure. You can get 0, 1, 3, or 10 XP. Name of ancestry. And then this is the back. Really good book. So like I said, guys, I'm just going to show you that. I'm going to show you a couple of them. There's 3 of them that they have out right now. Number 3 is the Midnight Sun. Number 2, it's the Red Sands. And then number 1, we'll just kind of take a peek at this. This is Diablier. Hopefully I sounded that out right. Spells, monster adventures, witches, warlocks, cursed knights. Yeah, you can see this one's called the adventures called The Gloaming, which is pretty awesome how they do this. Your introduction to it, right there, you can see here's your content table of contents. The knight, so they introduced the Knights of St. Idris, the warlock, and the witch classes. So there's 3 more classes that they introduce, into their world. And then obviously with the warlock, this also goes through the titles, but then it talks about the patrons that warlocks utilize. And very much this is set up just like the player's handbook. Warlock class, you roll a patron boon from any patron as an unexplained gift. There's your witch. Yeah, of course. Why would you not have a black cat with a witch? And again, like in the core book, here's your titles that you have, like a witch, a fortune teller, farseer, prophet, wise one, and a baba. They're all so witches. They're all babas at the end. Love it. Patron boons, and depending on who your patron is, and there's some examples. You obviously can create your own, but this is what they've made for their world, which is cool. Diabolical mishaps. Ooh, just like spellcasting. What happens in a mishap? New spells that they have created. Invisibility. A few of these things I thought might have been like invisibility, might have been in the basic rule book. Not quite sure why that one wasn't. But, I know a lot of you will probably be out there creating your own spells. Maybe you had one from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th edition that you really wanted in here. You guys will just convert it. Everything converts really easy. And then here's the actual, the little module that they include with it. Here's your monster manual for this, and it adds some new monsters. I know I'll be very interested to create monsters and stuff from our graphic novels and stuff and utilize them in here, your areas. And then, they've got the cool little map that's on the back. That's in here. And just like the other ones, here's your diabolical treasure. And there's your D20, brain in a jar, vial of blood, cracked mirror. But anyway, and what it does, this is really kind of neat. So guys, to sum up, this is a really cool D&D D20 version. We'll call it a very light version of it. It's very intuitive. You guys can play this. It doesn't require near the amount of setup, and combat's so much quicker. You can spend your time actually on the role-playing part of it, which I know for a lot of you, it gets taken away. We would usually run a campaign, and we would do a big battle once a month. Everybody gets together. We would do all the role-playing stuff through email because we weren't near each other. And then we, converge on somebody's house, and it would be awesome. And we would have a big battle. It was an entire day. Sometimes we could get in 2 battles. But D&D is all about, literally, it filled up half to a full day just for like one big battle. Here, guys, you can spend more time role-playing. But the advantage system, like I said, with the stats, I just like the way that they handle everything in this game. I will leave the link down below. I really want you guys to check this out. I know a lot of the guys that I play with and girls, I've been talking to them about it. I've just ordered a second copy. My niece is really into playing D&D. The whole family is over there. So I picked her up Shadowdark so she can play with her friends. I think they're going to enjoy this so much more than D&D. And anyway, guys, if you can't tell, I kind of alluded to it. This is the core base system that I'm going to be introducing, I think, Kor-Drath into the Shadowed Reach. I will be converting it using the system. And here, they are great working, unlike the OGLs and stuff that Hasbro, tried screwing everybody over with. They want you to create stuff for it. So it's a perfect blend of ICRPG and 5e rules. It's really what I was looking for. So anyway, guys, I really can't wait. I will probably make more videos in the future on this, but I just really wanted to touch base, show you guys the products. They're great. The rules, I am going to be running some adventures that I create through this, but I am going to be doing one of the gauntlets for my one group right away. We will see how they take that. They don't like losing characters. And a lot of people that started out in 5th edition, that's high epic level fantasy that's not designed to die very often. So it's going to be a bit of a shift. So we'll see how it goes. But as a great start, guys, if you heard me mention it, Andy Smith's the artist. I'm the writer for Kor-Drath The Reckoning and now Kor-Drath The Awakening, currently on Indiegogo. And, the graphic novels in the world of the Shattered Reach. This is what I'm going to be designing the game system around in the future. So check out my Kor-Drath current project up and running. And I will leave the links for everything down below. Check them out. I will be popping this up on not only YouTube, but on Rumble as well for all of you guys to take a peek at. If you have any questions, leave your comments down below. With that, I bid you guys a farewell, and we will talk to you all real soon. Smash that like and subscribe button. Share it to your friends, and leave your comments down below. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. See you soon.